Okay, in this video we're going to look some more at adjectives. In particular, we're going to look at descriptive adjectives. And what we're going to look at are the comparative and superlative forms. And so let me write regular. This is just a regular form. It's one you'll find in the dictionary. And then we have the comparative form. And we have the superlative form. And let me put one down first. I'm going to pick an irregular one, but a very common one. So good. So you go to the dictionary and you find good. And the comparative is better. And then the superlative is best. Okay, so what does that mean? So we have a good dog. Well, that's fine. We've got a good dog. But now we have a better dog. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means we have at least two dogs, and the dog we're talking about is more good than the other dog. And more good is ungrammatical, but you get the idea. It has more good qualities than the other dog. So it is a better dog. Okay? And you can also, this can also, not just individuals, but groups. So if you have better dogs, that means that this group of dogs is better than other groups of dogs. Okay, so we've got better. So this is a comparison, comparative, a comparison of two individuals or two groups. Okay, the superlative is a comparison with all the others. So if we have the best dog, we're talking about we have a dog that is better than all of the other dogs. So it's our one dog, or it could be we have the best dogs, or our group of dogs against all the other dogs. Okay, so this is the top of the heap, if you will. So let's put up another very common one, but also irregular. Bad, worse, and worst. Okay? And this means more bad, and this means most bad. Okay? But we have specific words for that. So let's find one that is regular. Cold. Okay? And so how do we make the comparative? Well, we add ER. Colder. And superlative, we add EST. So we end up with ER or EST. Now let's try one that's a little less regular, but still pretty easy to deal with. Large. Okay, well, we already have an E. So the comparative is larger, and the superlative is largest. So we don't double the E. We don't add another E. So we end up with, we add an R, we add an EST. But in the end, we end up with EST and we end up with ER. Okay, and then I'll do one more here. Happy ends with a Y. So kind of like we did with nouns, to make them plural. I-E-S-T. So we drop the Y. Oh. You guys aren't looking after me here. Happier. And this is happiest. Okay, so we change the Y to I and then add the ER. So we end up with happier and happiest. So that's all pretty straightforward. Now, you can't do that with every adjective, and particularly if you get longer. Uh, if you get longer adjectives. So let's difficult and expensive. Okay, and these do not have comparative forms, but I'll show you how we get around that. And in the description, I kind of gave it away. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure we were paying attention. So, difficult and expensive. Expensive. Okay, and what we do here is we go get the adverb for the comparative. Use the adverb more. So it's more difficult and it's more expensive. And for the superlative, most difficult and most expensive. Okay, and then there are some adjectives which really don't have comparisons as such. So married and dead. Okay, you're either married or you're single, or you're dead or you're alive. So there really is no more married or most married or more dead or most dead. Not that you can't put adverbs in front of them. Common one, almost married, just married. But the fact of being married, almost talks about time. So you're not married yet, but you soon will be. And just married means it's just very shortly after you went from being single to married. But at any point in time, you're either married or you're not married. And the same with dead. You're either dead or not dead. So you can be almost dead, which means you're not dead yet, but you're working on it, or just dead, or long dead, which means you've passed on a long time ago. Okay, but you can't be more dead or most dead. You can't be more dead than somebody else, or most dead, deader than everybody else. So, okay, with that I'll leave it. Now the only question you ask is, okay, how do you know whether it's irregular or whether it's regular, or whether it even has a comparative superlative, or kind of in this case is if you can even think about it. And I'll go back to what I told you before. Look it up. Okay. And in this case, the dictionary will usually give you, if there's a superlative, the dictionary will give it to you. It'll give you the ER, cold. It'll give you colder and coldest. It'll give you larger and largest. If it doesn't give you those, then you know you're in one of these, and you have to use more or you have to use most. Okay, with that, I think we're done with the descriptive adjectives. We'll be using them a lot when we start building sentences, but I think that they're really fairly kind of straightforward types of words. And with that, I will talk to you later.